All right, welcome everybody to the International Speaker Network for June 2019, and this is the free webinar that's included. And I'm Katrina Sawa, the organizer for this meetup and our webinar and our luncheons and our mixers and all that kind of fun stuff. And we'd love to bring on really cool speakers from all over into this monthly webinar. And although they don't have a whole lot of time to give us their best nuggets, but the goal of this webinar is to introduce you, because we started as the Sacramento Speaker Network, and now we have people calling in from all over the place. So it's super cool to connect online. I know there's a lot of other ways to connect online and other groups, and I'm a part of a bunch of them. And this is actually the new networking, I always say now, because you can literally meet people from all over, do business, do joint ventures, get clients, and it's just amazing. So I highly recommend you take advantage of these opportunities. Like I said, we have them once a month, and just make sure you're signed up and you join the meetup, which is at ispeakernetwork.com. So ispeakernetwork.com is where you can find the meetup page. If you join and you RSVP to the webinars, then you'll get information on upcoming events and all that, and be reminded and all that. It's like any other meetup. And I'm going to mute some of you because some of you are loud, just real quick, and I'm almost done. But first thing we like to do is we like to do introductions around the room. I always like to say show up on time, because if you don't, you snooze, you lose. And then you have to introduce yourself over in the chat, which is fine. I still want you guys to open up the chat. Is there anybody not familiar with a Zoom call? Raise your hands and how it works. Okay, good. So just make sure you open up the chat room on the right-hand side of your screen. And then I always recommend that you have a little blurb, like a paragraph already written, and then you can just copy and paste it into the chat. You can do that with any of these Zoom calls that you're on, if you're prepared. So if you have a little blurb that you can copy and paste about your introduction, who you are, and a link to your website or your email address or even your Facebook link. And then later on, at the end of the call, we allow you to say, okay, what do you have coming up? Do you have a live event coming up? Do you have a webinar? Can you invite us to something? Do you have a free resource on your website? So that's when you would put the little blurb in with the link to the page to find out more. Right? So I would recommend doing it twice. One is the intro and who you are, what you do, where you're from, where your passion is, who your perfect client is, whatever you want to write. It doesn't matter how long it is. And then at the end, put the call to action kind of thing. That's how I like to do it here. And then in the meantime, after we do the introductions, then we'll have Stacy speak, and then we'll have a little Q&A and discussion about the topic at hand, which is all about tips on improving your sales skills and your mindset. And so we all need that always, regardless of how good we are. And then we usually have time for one of the people on the call to get a 5-minute hot seat, or maybe a 4-minute hot seat. And so that's just, so be thinking, like, if you have a challenge that you're working through, or a concern, or something you want help with right now, or feedback on, like you're designing a new talk, and you need help with the title, or you want to, you're writing a book and you need help with whatever, some of the content or anything. It can be anything. Nothing is too small to bring up in that thing. So I'll just take like the first person to raise their hand later on, and so you got to be prepared and ready, and then that person usually gets a hot seat and free coaching from all of us. So that's the flow for tonight. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad to see some new faces, Colleen and Marsha and Ranjini, who haven't been here before. So thank you. And so let's just get started with introductions. We'll do Stacy last, because I want to introduce you, and then you can add more stuff to your introduction as well. So Gary, I know you're a seasoned pro at this. We'll do Gary, and then Ranjini. Am I saying that right again? Ranjini.
You got it the second time. Now it's Ranjini, like running.
Ranjini.
The intonation is on the first vowel. So much grammar.
I know, sorry.
Stacy's an expert with my name. She says it better than I do.
We see each other more often. I know. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so Gary, then Ranjini, and then Marsha, and then Rhonda, hello, and then Colleen, and then Rebecca. And I may forget that, so remember who you're after. Okay, let's go.
Okay, sounds good. Hello, everyone. My name is Gary McKenzie, and I'm probably best known for working with entrepreneurs and small business owners to develop their public speaking and presentation skills. I primarily work with entrepreneurs and small business owners, I said, to help them develop their presentation, developing their messaging, and how to tell their story, and the words and phrases to use to really connect with the subconscious of your audience. And the goal, of course, is to move them to becoming from a prospect to become a paying customer. So again, my name is Gary McKenzie. I'm located outside of Modesto, California. However, I work virtually all over the state of California. So thank you, Katrina.
Awesome, thanks. Take it away.
Wow, what a segue for me. Thanks, Gary. My name is Ranjani, and I have a company called Beyond Headlines Content Creation. So what I do is I build custom brand content, whether it's through websites or videos, podcasts, or social media, any kind of messaging that you want that needs to sound coherent and compelling. I build that for you so that you can reach the right audience and, along the lines of what Gary said, make them stick with you and never leave. So that's what I do.
Who did I say next?
Yeah, I think you were going to have me next. I was waiting to see if you were going to unmute me or I was going to unmute myself. So, well, hi, everybody. I'm really glad to be here. It's really neat to meet some new faces and see some old ones, too, that are old friends. I'm Marcia O'Malley, and I live in Reno, Nevada, but I work virtually just about anywhere. I help people who are entrepreneurs, small business owners, nonprofit organizations, create greater visibility with their organization through the use of video. So I'm a video producer. I also train people to shoot video on their own smartphone. And yeah, and I'll be in Roseville in a couple of weeks with you, yes, Katrina. I'm real excited.
I was just going to say, she's going to be my videographer person at my next Speaker Success Bootcamp. And she's going to be doing the videos for the people who are doing the VIPs in front of the room. So that's going to be super fun.
Yeah.
Woohoo. All right. Who did I say? Rhonda, did I say you? I might have said you next.
I'm next? I'm right now? Okay.
You're next.
Hi, my name is Rhonda Liebig. I started off about 11 years ago as an energy revitalizer and mindset mentor. And so I've been out there speaking and having a fabulous time. A year and a half ago, I started a new business that I also do, and it's called the Fresh Inspiration Show. I have 8 speakers this year, and I set up a tour so they are in front of new people, and they get out and they get to speak like once a month, and so they tighten up their talk. So that's what I do, and I'm booking our 2020 group right now if you're interested.
Awesome. That's awesome. All right, so who do we say? Rebecca, are you around? Because you're unmuted, I think. I just want to make sure you're there. Rebecca, maybe she's in a place she can't talk. Okay, Colleen, and then Rebecca if you're there. Otherwise, we'll have to skip you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Colleen with Essential Oils with Colleen. So I educate people on how to use essential oils in their life to remove toxins and live happier, healthier lives more naturally. I do it by offering live classes and online classes. And I'm excited to be here to meet everybody tonight.
Awesome. And just so you know, you must have 2 screens open because you're looking one way, but we're seeing.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I'm looking at the big screen instead of the little screen.
I didn't want to interrupt you, but yes, now you're looking at us, so we can. Okay. But we can hear you either way, so I'm just letting you know. And I know you're newer to Zoom, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we saw each other today, and she's like, "Oh, I'm going to start doing online classes." I'm like, "You have to come to my Zoom, and then you see how it is, right?" Super simple when you get the hang of it. So awesome. Welcome. And Rebecca, last chance. Okay. And I'll do my quick introduction real quick, and most of you know who I am. So I'm a business and marketing coach. I really help people make a lot more money doing what they love. And that means looking at everything you're doing and how it all flows together or doesn't flow together, and how it can be more automated, systematized, maybe delegated, how to create different income streams that can bring you a lot more money every month and make a bigger impact with people that you're working with, of course. Maybe elevate yourself to the next level, which is I do speaker trainings, online and offline, really more about the logistics of how to be prepared, how to position yourself, how to get booked, how to. I do everything about the how. So how to do all the things you need to do to get in front of a lot more people, make a bigger reach, make a bigger impact, and make a lot more money. I love teaching the how. Like, oh, I don't know how to do this. Okay, let me show you. Ooh, let me show you. So I love teaching that in my coaching and my mastermind and at my live events. They're very how-to oriented. So they're way different than a lot of other events. And I'll put links in the chat for upcoming events. But I run this meetup too. If you are remotely in the area, we have a luncheon. You're welcome to come on June 12th. It's a Wednesday from like 11:30 to 1:30. If you can make it, please come. It's at the Old Spaghetti Factory in Roseville. You'll find it on that meetup page. And I'll put the meetup page again in the chat. And also when this is all done, I take the recording and the chat room contents and I post it on a webinar page for everybody to see. And so you'll get the link to go review it in case you want to look back or grab the chat notes too. So FYI. Any questions about the meetup or the organization before I introduce Stacy? Because some of you are new. Okay. And I also happen to run the International Entrepreneur Network, which is different. And that's $7 a month, but it's similar to this, but it's all masterminding, no speakers. So it's all like laser coaching, masterminding. So that's really fun. And I'll put a link in there too for that. Lots of stuff. Okay, so I want to introduce my friend Stacy over here, we've met through Polka Dot Powerhouse, and some of you are members of Polka Dot Powerhouse. Stacy lives in San Jose, right? And she runs the chapter there for Polka Dot, and she just happens to be a sales and mindset master coach, and so she's gonna go talk to us about that today. So let me read her quick bio, and then you can fill in the blanks on it. Stacy Weber is the founder of True You Training. She's an inspiring and passionate speaker, empowerment coach, corporate sales trainer, and the creator of the Limitless Sales System and Limitless Life, Body, and Business Training. Oh yeah, I forgot. She's like this fitness guru too. So she has over 25 years of experience in sales, sales leadership, and sales training. Stacy is also a certified life coach and certified personal fitness trainer. She specializes in working with people to create an unstoppable mindset of unlimited possibilities. Using the law of attraction, she guides men and women to align their mindset, their habits, and beliefs with their goals to create their best life, body, and business. We all need that, right? So take it away. It's your stage for 15 or so, 20 minutes max, and then we can do some question and answer, okay?
Okay, awesome.
All right, cool.
Thank you so much. I just want to say thank you to Katrina first and foremost because she is a master connector. That's all I know. If you want to get connected, connect with Katrina and she'll tell you, she'll guide you in that. This is a how-to girl, absolutely. So thank you for having me. And I'm going to share my screen if that's okay with you. Let me grab this. Got a little PowerPoint here. There we go. Okay. So just fill in the blanks a little bit of my story and how I came to do what I do. I, like Katrina was saying, 25 plus years in outside sales. I did that with my company that was sold and became a very corporate company. And I love what I did. However, there came to be a point where I was very stressed out. I'm sure some of you can relate to this, where you're working, and I was traveling. I was working on multiple states, 60 salespeople, 6 regional managers, and I found myself in the airport one day thinking, gosh, if I could just get to the end of the week. if I can just make it, I'll find some relief on the weekend. And what I found from that is I was wishing my life away. And I was like, oh my gosh, life is too short to wish days of my life away. And so I was like, I don't want it to be that way. It doesn't have to be. There's got to be a way. And so that's where I started my journey on trying to figure out, how do I be happy and successful? Isn't that what we all want? Happiness and success. And so there is a way, and so much of how I work with people is how they're thinking, what their beliefs are, because I can guide you on the sales skills and we're going to talk about that today, but also it's really how you're thinking about yourself, your confidence, all those things. And so that's why I feel it's so powerful to really realize and be aware of the things that you're thinking, not just what you're doing, because we're so doing oriented, but how you're thinking about yourself, your business, what you think you can and cannot do. So we're going to start with that. We're going to also talk about some sales skills. But the first part I always help people with is breaking through the barriers that hold people back from stepping powerfully into their business. And isn't that what we all want to do, right? So let's get started. Since I have 15 minutes, I want to give you as much information as possible. So what I find is I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, sales teams, business professionals, and what I find is people get stuck. They get stuck in, too much, like overwhelm of all the things or beliefs from the past. And what I find is that these are really smart people, yet we get stuck and then we don't know what's going on. So what I find, it's usually our mindset, our beliefs and habits. We have a lack of confidence, even though we're like really smart, all of a sudden that fades away, right? Or not having a system to help us, like, where am I at with all the clients that I want to have? So this is what I found when working with a lot of people. And what I found is when I've introduced some of these steps that I'm going to talk about tonight with you, is that things start moving and shifting. If you can get your mind in alignment with what you're wanting and release some of those things, you increase your confidence, your business grows, and you have more ease and flow. That's what I find. And so the first thing I want to talk about tonight is having an unstoppable mindset. I'm going to move this up here so if you are recording, there we go. An unstoppable mindset and productivity. So how would an unstoppable mindset serve you in your business? Anybody want to share? What would serve you? Would that serve you in your business? Yes, it would, because we get stuck, right? Sometimes we get stuck, things happen, at the end of the day, all of a sudden you're like, what happened? I didn't get anything done. Has anybody been there where you're like, oh, I got one thing done today? So how do we keep going when those things happen? So what are the challenges? A lot of times we're not aware of how we're thinking, right? We're just going through the day, going through the motions, doing our task lists. Sometimes we get derailed by family. Do we ever get derailed in our business by family? All the time, right? Then something happens. Or we focus on what we don't want. Well, gosh, I don't want something, not to happen in our business. Or just like easy, simple things like traffic in the morning. Gosh, I hope there's no traffic to get to wherever I want to go, instead of focusing on what you want. So how do you create that unstoppable mindset? Well, what is a mindset? Mindset is a fixed mental attitude or disposition, an inclination, or a habit. Did you know our mindset can be a habit? It can. It can, because we can be on automatic. Actually, our bodies and mind are meant to be habitual, because that serves us. Because think about this. I want everybody to think about it. If you had to think of everything that you do every day, talking, eating, digesting, could we do that? We could not. And so our body and our minds are meant to have habitual ways of being, because that serves us, right? Unless it doesn't serve us to keep us moving forward in our business. So it's being aware of how we're thinking. So each day we actually have an opportunity to reset every morning, right? Every morning we have that opportunity. It's just like, I'm sure everybody has a phone. Who's had a phone that all of a sudden it locks up and it doesn't do anything? and you can't make it move, you know what I mean? And so what do? You turn it off, you turn it back on, and then it's working. So that's the same thing as our mindset that we can have every morning. But you have to be aware. So I call that your internal environment. We have our external environment, we have our internal environment. So what are your thoughts when you first wake up? I want everybody to think about that. What do you think about? Now, people, I get all kinds of answers from, I have to go to the bathroom, right? I think about the coffee that I'm going to drink. It could be the to-do list that you have, right? Some people go, oops, they look at their phone. That's the first thing they do. And yet, what happens when you do that? Those type of things. Sometimes you feel overwhelmed and stressed before you even get out of bed, like problem has happened. Oh my gosh, this client's canceled or whatever. Whatever the case may be, we're stressing ourselves out before anything even starts, right? And phone messages, emails, that type of thing. So I suggest to be aware and to choose how you want to start your day, because that really sets the tone of what's going to happen the rest of the day. I want everybody to imagine the time where you've had something that happened in the morning. It could be you stubbed your toe. Maybe you have children and they completely said, I'm not getting out of bed, I'm not going to school. That could totally derail you, right? So how do you choose how you're going to think? I always say, create a morning ritual. What could that be like? So instead of looking at your phone, instead of going through your to-do list as you sit there in bed, you can close your eyes and just be still and think, oh, feels good. I'm relaxed. The sheets, the warmth of the bed, whatever that is, because that sets the tone. I believe in the law of attraction, which whatever you focus on expands. So if you're going, oh, feels good, you're going to get more thoughts that make you feel good. And so that's the momentum you're starting instead of going, oh my gosh, you're frantic, right? So that's the first step. Feel the goodness of the sheets. Just take a moment. It's not going to take a whole bunch more time, right? It's not going to take you off your schedule. Then visualize the day you want, right? Maybe you've got some clients. Maybe you're working on a marketing strategy, just thinking like everything's going to fall into place. There's the flow of traffic's going to be great. Just like visualize how you want it to be, because you're setting that feeling out, that energy out into the world. And take a walk of gratitude, meaning I'm healthy, my family's healthy. These type of things fill you up, fill your cup up instead of reduce it. So when we're full, we feel not a sense of lack, because that is not a good way to start your day on, I'm not good enough, or things are not going to work well today. That's, your cup is half full instead of it's overflowing. And then how many times do we expect good things to happen? And we've got a client call, we're going to speak today. Expect the best to happen instead of, gosh, I hope they respond. I hope I get good response. Do you see that energy is much different than it's going to be a fabulous day. I'm going to connect with great people. I'm going to be on a webinar where I meet some wonderful people that I can connect with. So that's choosing how you want to be. And so I know, because for myself and my clients, that the attitude that you have really affects the behavior and the action that you take. You are going to take different action if you're feeling confident, if you're feeling resilient and happy going into the day. Your results will be better and your performance. So to me, this is vital for you to have the business and the sales. If we're talking about sales that you want, you got to start with the way that you're thinking every day, because it makes a huge difference. All right, we're going on to step 2, or the second thing we're going to talk about, and that is being authentically you. To me, When you are you, it's easy. It's really easy to be you. But if you're trying to be someone else, like if you are emulating someone else, you love the way someone else does their business, but that's not you. So you want to be you because people are looking for you. You know, those clients that you want, your ideal client. So I'm sure a lot of you know who's your ideal client. And that ideal client is looking specifically for you. So you want to be who you truly are. So some of the challenges are that I think society kind of pushes us to be small, to go, well, you know, don't shine too bright. You know, ooh, you kind of look conceited if you're like, woo, this is what I'm doing. But that's not the truth. If you do it authentically as what you're putting out to the world, that is showing others that they can shine too. But a lot of times we push it down. Maybe we don't really look at our talents, our gifts, our experience, which is so powerful in all of you, what you do. That experience is what people buy from you, right? A lot of times we focus on our negative traits, what we don't do well, you know? And that, again, is not going to attract what we want. It's going to push away those ideal clients. And then we don't leverage those things in your story, in your introduction, in the power of when you're speaking to people. That's what connects people. They go, ooh, I like what he says. I like what she says. Be passionate about that gift, the gifts that you give to the world. I think is so, so important because people are looking for you, and you don't really want everyone. You want people that resonate with you. I hope that makes sense to everybody. So why do you do business with someone? Why do you all do business with someone? I'm sure if you think about what do you go through, right? What is that? Number one, you like them. You like them. You're not going to do business with someone you don't like. You're just going to go, they're not for me, right? You trust them. You got to trust that they're going to bring you what they're telling you that they're going to bring, that you feel good about working with them, right? They have something you want or something they need that you need, right? But the bottom line is you got to connect with them first. If you don't connect, they're not going to even get close to doing business with you. And so how do you do that? One thing that just came up for me recently, I'm sure some of you know Marie Forleo. She's come out with a book that's coming out in September, and it's called Everything is Figure Outable. And I watched a show that she did with Oprah. It was a podcast. The whole podcast was a story about her life. The whole thing. And I was like, oh my gosh, how powerful it was. And so she wasn't selling, she was telling about the book, but she didn't sell anything. She connected with everybody on trust and like and something they want and need. And my point of this is tell your story. It's powerful. To share your knowledge, to share your experience. That is what connects people, right? So really powerful to remember to do that and to use that in your marketing, which Katrina can help you with. Okay, so this is just a gal that I helped. She really just stepped into her power after she went through one of her programs, and it was like she didn't do anything different other than have confidence in herself and her ability and who she was, that she took off. Like in her business, she was in advertising. So I just put this up as a point is right after, 2 weeks after, she started stepping into her business really powerfully. And that's what this type of thing can do. All right, so the last thing I want to talk about, am I okay on time here, Katrina? So his last thing is client converting conversations. So now you've got your mindset. You're talking about being totally authentic. What's the thing that will help you move them into a client? I think it was like Gary was saying, how do you convert a prospect into a client? And that is the conversation when you sit down with someone, right? And so how do you do that? The most important thing is you got to connect with them. So they know about you. Now you want to ask powerful questions, open-ended questions that give you the information, because when you set up a conversation to have enough time to have them feel like you really want to get to know them by asking them open-ended questions, and having a question ear is so important. And going through that systematic approach, because that will guide you to what they need specifically, right? Sometimes we offer too many things. I've got this, 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 and this, right? When you only want to present to what they're saying they need and want. You don't want to overwhelm people. I'm sure all of you have been there where you're having a conversation and then they're like, oh my gosh, there's so many choices. I can't make a choice. I have to come back and think about it. And we don't want that, right? We want them to make a decision. So how can you do that there? So take great notes. Ask as many questions as possible so you know clearly what you have, or maybe you don't even have something to offer. Whatever that could be. Take notes. Ask if you can take notes. I always like to say, I'd love to ask you some questions. Is that okay with you? They're going to, of course, say yes. I'm going to take some notes. Is that all right? Great. So when you set it up like that, they feel like they are heard and that they're like, wow, she's really professional. So take the notes. And at the end of the conversation, I want you to recap. So this is where you go, thank you so much, Katrina, for sitting down with me and sharing with me about your business, what your needs are, what's been happening. And is it okay if I repeat back to you what you said? And of course, they're going to say, great. So you repeat back. So this is what you said. And then at the end, you go, is there anything else that you want to share with me? Then at the end, you can say, now you're ready to present your solution, your product, whatever that is. And you say, is it all right if I give you my professional recommendation? And of course, they're going to say, yeah, I would love to hear your professional recommendation. And then present directly to that. And the key to this is you're setting yourself up to show them you care, you've listened, you're only presenting to that specific need, want, and you connected with them. All right? So that is the key to really having a client conversation and converting a prospect to a client. All right. So I'm at the end here. I've already posted this in the chat. This is something I created for people that want to create a morning mindset. You can take bits and pieces, you can use it. So what it is, it's a video and it's a guide that you fill out every morning. So you print out the guide and you can watch the video, and that's where you can get the free, and that's morningmindsetgift.com. And then if anybody is wanting to actually work through anything that maybe that you're holding on to, that's holding you back from powerfully stepping into your business, I'm offering a special on a 90-minute session with me, Limitless Breakthrough and Strategy session. So normally it's $350, it's only $200. If you like that, just reach out to me, and that's my email address. And I wanted to thank you for the opportunity to be a part of this. I appreciate that, Katrina. And if you have any questions, let me know.
Okay, so if you guys have questions, just unmute. And if you want to stop sharing,
yeah,
that would be great, so we can see everybody.
Hold on, let me.
Stacy, I had something to say.
Rhonda, yes.
Gosh, Stacy, I loved what you said, and the things that I really appreciate what you said is about the mindset stuff. I feel like what you said was just so dialed in, because I think that I show up differently if I didn't start 2 years ago on this journey of learning how to be quiet, how to start listening, like all those things you were talking about. I'm telling you, I know there's so many ways to do different things and we get monkey mind, but I thought the first thing about really listening to what I cared about, and then it opened up the space so I could hear what other people care about. I was not afraid so much, and so I stopped thinking about myself. And so you said it so clean and clear, so I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I love your color of They're out.
Stacy, I'm learning as I go. As I go along, you just kind of all start getting put together. Thank you.
Love it. Thank you so much.
Cool. I would say, what's your biggest, I know you speak a lot and you do a lot of trainings and things like that. So, and great offer, you had free and you had paid, right? So we got to make it easy for people to buy or sign up if they want to dip their toe and that kind of thing. What do you think is the easiest way to get somebody interested in the initial conversation? Do you have any tips for that? Because that's always something people struggle with, I think.
I would say start asking them about what they're excited about in their business and what are they doing to move forward. I mean, if I'm thinking about myself, but having a conversation, you know what? Ask them, like, why are you excited about what you're doing? Like, get to know them so then you start having a conversation. I just think that that's most important. If you're having a one-on-one conversation, why are they doing what they do? And then that opens people up. People want to talk about that. They get passionate about what they do. And then if they're having challenges in whatever area that you do, then there's an opportunity to give, like you always say, give a resource, right? I mean, you're so good at that. Always giving resources so people can dip their toe in, And for me, it's usually about how they're thinking. And so, and any way that I can help them with that and then connect with them. And then you start, they may not be ready for you. I always say, sometimes people, it's just, connecting, and then down the road, maybe that's when they're like, oh, this is the time. Right.
Awesome.
I have a question. Yeah. Hi, Stacy. It's good to see you again. My question is, I truly believe in that whole conversation as well. Instead of coming in with some kind of a sales pitch, you really want to find out and dig deep, with this potential client. But from time to time, I get people who are very chatty. And I'm wondering if you've got tips on how to keep control on the conversation, but keep it conversational.
So I always like to say, how much time do we have today? Like, if you got 30 minutes, 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so at the end, okay, great. If you set a time, I would say, great, we've got 30 minutes today. And so is it okay if I walk you through what we're going to do today in the 30 minutes? So you set it up. Like, this is what we're going to talk. And then, if you have any questions. And so you set it up. And so they know at the end at 2:30 or whatever, you know what I mean? If it's 2 to 2:30, they know that, you got to go. Like, there's another client. I understand what you're saying, because you can go on and on, especially if it's a free thing that you're doing, maybe. So if you set it up that way, and then that they know, if you have to say, oh, okay, so we have 5 minutes for this or whatever. If you're concerned about that, I would set the whole thing up and then say, okay, we have 5 more minutes. So let's talk about the next steps, just making this up. And that way you are always in control, but you're doing it all in a nice way. It's not ever, like, okay, we're doing it this way. It's more, you're guiding them through the process that you take people through.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Thank you.
But there's times where people will set up an hour with you and they go, oh, well, I only have 15 minutes right now. So that's happened so many times in my career that I always go, so we still have an hour? Oh, okay, we only have a half an hour. So then you know how to swoosh down, figure out, restructure what you're going to say.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good point, because you have to be prepared for a 15-minute sales conversation or an hour-long sales conversation, because we can do it in all of it. But, if you're selling a high-end program, usually you need more time, I find.
Mm-hmm.
Ranjini.
Ranjini.
You got it. That's awesome. You got it. Cool. So I wanted to say, I know Stacy for about a year and a half to 2 years now, and even before I joined her chapter, she was always giving of her time and of her resource, and she's an amazing human being who can be a very good mentor to anybody. So definitely tap into that. The question I have for Stacy is, once you have the initial conversation, how do you, if they say, okay, this is all the time they had, and you couldn't cover everything, or they need more time, what are some of the steps that you do to follow up, and how many times do you stick with it?
So I try my best to stay within the time. So I watch the time. You want to watch the time. So at the end, and if you don't have time and they go, well, I've got to go and I don't have time. So when's the best time for me to follow up with you? When this week should I follow up with you? Tuesday, how should I do that? Should I call you? Should I email you? Right? Always ask them at the end. And then if they don't say email me, so you email them, and then you follow up until they say no. It's still a possibility because people get busy. That's what everybody does. Oh, they don't really want to talk to me. And that's the story you're telling, because it's not true until they tell you no. So you put them on a follow-up, and it just depends on what that is that you're offering them. But keep them in as, a follow-up system that you have a CRM. But until they say no, it's still a possibility, because people get busy, people go on vacation, there's times people have gone, oh my gosh, thank you so much for following up with me. I was on vacation, or I was ill, or whatever that is. Yeah. Okay, that help?
Cool. Did we cover it? I think, there's so much to know about sales. The one thing I say about sales is you got to learn sales and mindset stuff from a variety of people, I think, because I think everybody's going to give you a different perspective. And Stacy covered a lot deep dive on the mindset of it all, where some people get into the practical, tactical, and I'm sure you do that as well in your events and stuff. But sometimes you get those golden nuggets, right? I like the words. So a lot of times people coach with me because I will say the exact words they need to say in an email or in a networking situation or something. And so to get those words that you and I are really good, I've been in sales and marketing since I was 16, right? And so, we can just go bleh and tell you exactly what you need to say. And that doesn't always work with people. So to get an hour of her time to help you with that verbiage, I highly recommend. I've known Stacy a while now, and you're amazing. So
thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, so this is the time where I'm going to ask you who wants a hot seat, and so the first person to raise your hand right now, go. Nobody? Oh, Ranjini. Oh, what? You're muted. What?
I am in Stacy's program, so I interact with her pretty regularly. So if anybody else wants to take it, I'm happy to.
Oh, no, this is for everybody. All of us can contribute to the hot seat. So what the hot seat is about is not just for Stacy to give us advice, it's for all of us to give us our expertise. Because when you're going to get the same group of people on the line.
Okay, I'm taking it. No more talk. I got it. Just kidding.
Okay, what do you got there? I'm going to give us 30 seconds of an explanation of what you need help with, and then feel free to unmute, you guys, if you have something to say, or you can post stuff in the chat too and help her. Okay, go.
So my background has been in video journalism, and so I have a range of skills that can go from content strategy, interviewing, building print, audio, video, and all of those things for a business. So my challenge is that every time I start with either a small, medium, or a large business, they are very excited to hear about the range of things I can do. But in terms of what I can offer for them, I have basic packages. Like I can do a web audit for you and then build a set of blogs. But it needs to be an ongoing basis. Or if you want everything from videos to audio to social media marketing, then that's another package. A lot of times people tend to get overwhelmed by the amount of stuff there is. So my goal was to try and build a series of webinars that would kind of take them through the journey of how content works. If you have ideas on how I can build that up, and what are some of the things that you guys have seen with your customers or clients that need content the most, I would be thrilled to get that information.
Go ahead, Rhonda.
Ranjini, it sounds like you have wonderful talent and you have tons of information. I do see that you have different levels there within your business. So I could see your packages being from the basic where you're speaking more at the surface level that will get them to a certain level. I could also see the big package being a full year. When you're doing your marketing, you speak to certain things. In the background, you have tons of tools for them to use. If you speak to all of that, it does get overwhelming. But if you can lay the foundation and then expand as you're going through like a year-long program or however long it takes to get somebody through. So you have different packaging and you're not throwing it all out there so they don't get overwhelmed, and using the words that people understand. Then it can be scrumptiously devoured. You're like, oh my gosh, I really need you. And then there's no more questions because you just clearly said it. Your superpowers are going to be all the extra stuff that you add in. Does that make sense?
Okay, there we go. And unmute. I can't unmute. Oh. Stay unmuted so we can. There you go.
Conversation.
Yeah.
That was really helpful, and thank you so much for that, Rhonda, because Stacy knows this for a long time. I keep saying that I need to get all of these pieces in place to like jump into something, but I've wisened up, and wherever I'm ready at, I will just go out there and do it. So this is super helpful. Thanks. In terms of when people come to you for messaging, branding, marketing stuff, what is their most pressing need that you've seen? I know Marsha does videos, you do actual marketing coaching, Stacy is in the same realm.
What do they need in terms of content?
What are they looking for?
They are looking for usually an easy way to get more social media posts done, for one, I think. What I think is more important, however, is doing more videos and more story and more of themselves. So they need content around themselves, pulling themselves out into bits and pieces of content, whether it's, and then repurposing it. So the big thing that I like to get people to delegate to a virtual assistant, or maybe in your case too, is the repurposing of their content. So once they do have a body of content, can somebody fragment that and put it into a lot of different places like blog posts and YouTube and this and that and this, So that is something that's hugely needed with most entrepreneurs. That's my thoughts.
You just gave me my marketing plan, but thank you.
I just saw your marketing plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's exactly it. So when it's the interviews and I get the basic story in place, there's so many different ways to package it. So I can do that.
Right. And I mean, honestly, the people, I don't know how much you charge, and we can talk offline, but if you could come to some of my events, because people need that. And I'm huge on telling people to delegate. Yeah.
He was telling me this morning, put it out into the universe and ask, and you'll never know.
Yeah, seriously, because they're not huge, but we get down and dirty with stuff and what you need to do. And then I like to make sure I have resources in the room. Well, you need to hire her for this and her for that and do this and da, da, da. Right? I mean, a lot of people on the line have been to my event. So, yeah. Anybody else have any ideas for her? Marsha?
I just had a question. You were saying at the very end of your introduction here that you were thinking of creating a webinar series that's basically the journey of content creation. And I don't quite understand the purpose of that. I mean, were you talking about educating potential clients, or maybe drawing them in, or why would you do that?
So there are 3 different phases of content. One is whenever anybody wants to build their business, the first thing is to build awareness around a product or a business, right? The identity of it. So it starts with that. And that takes about 3 to 6 months for people to understand who you are, what you do, what your website is all about, or your business is all about. If they have not met you, if you've not given them a direct link of your website, and if they have to organically, which basically means they're looking for something online, they've posted a question to Google, and Google needs, through its algorithm, to come find you to be the perfect answer for that question. And that's where content comes in, and it makes sure that you stand out from all the competition who are probably answering the same question in a different way. For example, if you ask what the weather is today, Google will pull weather.com as its first hit, and then it will probably go to CNN, NBC, and then down the line, right? The reason it does that, it says, for the question that you asked me, this is the website that has the most comprehensive information, the latest information, and the most, experts in the field who can answer that question for you. Because you might also want to know what the week is looking like, or you want to know what the next month is looking like, right? So it's predictive and preemptive that way, because it wants to keep you on that site longer. So what content can do for your business is exactly that. So when you ask, somebody finds a question, says, how do I use video marketing? How will it improve my business? A simple question like that. I want Google to come find your website over everybody else's. So the content that you put out for that question needs to be very cohesive and comprehensive, and then a list of things that go on. So that's building awareness. The second part of that is to have them engage with it. So if they really like your content, they should be sharing it, they should be commenting on it, they should be talking about it with others. Okay. And for that, you need to have a content plan on when you want to post this, where else you want to post this, how do you want to repurpose. That's where the repurposing comes. So if you can have quick 10-second edits of the videos that you've done on Instagram or on Facebook, that's going to be repurposing your content. And the final stage of that will again take you 3 months at least. The last stage is for you to showcase yourself as an authority in your industry, so that somebody will stay with you and will also bring others. Basically, they'll be advocates for your business. So the reason I want to do these webinars is for this reason, so I can showcase how each stage works and how intense it is. You can't just say, I'm going to do 4 blogs and I'm done with it and I don't see results. It doesn't work like that. So the idea is to walk you through this content journey, is what I kind of did.
That's awesome. So 1 more minute and then we gotta move on. But Rhonda, do you have something else?
I do. Ranjini, it feels to me like that's a lot of information within the one package area. Like, you're giving a lot of information that's really good information. I wonder if you take one component of that and expand it out so you can teach them really good stuff within that space, and you can say, through this you've learned this, but these are the other things that will help you get out there, and this is the next step. So if you touch the surface, it may accidentally hurt what you're doing because they'll see you only at that surface level. So kind of deep dive within one thing. I think that would be real powerful. What do you think about that?
So how do I explain why they need to stay for a year at least?
Well, we're just trying to give you some tips and advice, and what
I was telling.
And we're also and gently nudging you that maybe people won't sign up for a year. Okay. So you might want to have another option just in case. Like, it's not an easy thing. And of course you want to give them everything, but what do they want to receive, right? So I would say make sure that you sell them what they want, and then you give them what they need. And then if you need to give them an advanced program, so you have a beginners and advanced, and then once the beginners program is perhaps recorded with the webinars, then they can buy it and go through it themselves and then come live to the advanced perhaps, right? So I think you might want to be a little bit more flexible, and maybe that's what Rhonda was getting at, with the way that you're planning on selling it. That's all. Gary, did you have one more last thing?
Just wanted to piggyback on what Rhonda was saying. It's really important to have one specific next step. When I work with individuals, one, we work with on getting their message concise and then giving their people one next step. If you give them 3 or 4 or 5, they get lost and do not take action. Just so you're curious, one next step. And Katrina, you talk about the easy yes offer.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a nice way to get them into her funnel. Easy yes offer. Try her out. Maybe it's just 3 sessions, but they get an experience. So that's my counsel.
Cool. Hopefully that was helpful.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, and thank you everybody for pitching in.
Yeah.
It really helped.
Awesome. If you guys have any other suggestions, or make sure your website's in there, Ranjini. So now we want to go around the room quickly and say, okay, what do you got coming up? Do you have a speaking gig? Do you have an event? Do you have a webinar? Do you have something, whether it's paid or free, that you can invite us to? Hopefully you've already put the link in the chat. And then make sure, if you guys don't know how to do it, if you look at the bottom of the chat stream, there's a little more button right near the bottom. And if you do that drop down, you can save the chat. I would wait until we're close to done and you could save the chat. You'll see it if you want to go to the recording page later, but just in case you want it sooner than later, you want to save the chat there, just an FYI. Any questions? Okay. So Gary, you're primed and ready to go. So Gary, Rhonda, Stacy, Marsha, and then Ranjini and Colleen in that order. Okay?
Okay, thank you, Katrina. On June the 18th, myself and Elaine Long and Linda Shively are presenting a 3-hour seminar on how to craft your story. How to craft your story, choose the words and phrases you use to connect with your audience. So I'll put the link here. It's going to be in Sunnyvale, California. For some of you that are close, that's great. So again, it's a 3-hour program, and there's free parking. That's the beauty, free parking. So I'll put the link. Yes, that's cool. Lots of free parking. So again, I'll put the link in here. So thank you, Katrina.
All right.
I've got the link.
Hey, I'll be speaking for the Savvy Boss Ladies Summit, and that's in the Marin area. I have 2 tickets if you would love to come along with me. And it's all about working within the mindset, getting your motivation going. What is stopping you from getting to the next level? So that's my expertise in unclogging that through storytelling and just getting in there and asking good questions, I hope. So welcome in if you would like a ticket. Connect with me, please.
Awesome. Then who did I say? Stacy? Oh, hold on, you're muted. Stacy, Marsha.
There you go. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I put my free gift, the Morning Mindset gift.com. That's in the chat if you want to grab that. It's just something that I love to do every week. I do on my Facebook page, which I'll put it in the chat, a Thriving Thursday Facebook Live. So I give tips every week on how you can thrive in your life and business. So, and that goes from physical to mental to in your business, how you can thrive in all the areas. So that's what I have right now. And then I have my special for the session like that I had posted. You can reach out to me via my my website, which I also posted. So thank you, Katrina, for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here. Marsha, what you got? Anything?
Yeah, so I'm not speaking anytime soon that you guys could connect with, but I'll stay in touch with everybody. Things will be coming up in the next couple months. But right now, I have a 50% off special. I added a link into our chat to create an About You video. And the way that it's working on paper, and we can make adjustments for any of you that can't actually make it into Reno to come into the studio, is that it's a couple of Zoom calls to get you really ready to be on camera, to talk about your messaging, to talk about getting comfortable with speaking, what it is that you have to say, what to wear, all of those kinds of things in preparation and rehearsing before you actually show up at the studio with me. And for people who can't make it to Reno, if you have pre-recorded video, I will honor the price and edit it for you and put it into a nice little about you video.
And so you are speaking at my event. So
Yes.
there's that, first of all.
That's true. That's true.
But are you going to be doing any kind of, are you going to give us a preview of what you're going to offer there? Maybe they can have that, or is that what this is, or just curious?
Well, there, what I'm offering will be, you know, whoever has bought into your VIP package will get 5 minutes of raw material recorded during that session with them doing their speech, their talk. And my offer beyond that is that if they would like to have it edited, if they'd like to have an actual speaker reel created, I would absolutely love to do that. So simple editing, I think I have to go back and see what I sent to you, Katrina. I think I said 197.
Oh, I don't recall. But what about if you're going to be in the area? Like, what if they were local, they could get some video? I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yep, we can talk.
On location.
We can talk. I've got a couple of things looming, so I'm not sure exactly what's going to land. I have a client here that has clients in the Sacramento area. She wants to potentially interview them, but I don't know if that's going to happen yet or not.
It's always good to get some professional video. When you can get, you know, one time I recorded 17 videos in a 4-hour period. So I hired a videographer to come over to my house, and they just shot, and I just shot a video for almost every page of my website at the time. So important to just get some stuff done. Okay, Colleen and Ranjini, do you have anything coming up? Like you can invite us to? It can be online or offline. Whoever unmutes first. There,
Okay. All right. This week live on Thursday, I'm doing essential oils for summer. We'll be making sunscreen and after sun spray and things like that. And then on the 12th on Facebook, I will have essential oils for men and getting ready for Father's Day.
That's awesome. And you just reminded me I'm going to go do that basil thing tonight. I haven't done yet. She said my ears are all clogged, and she's all, oh, you need peppermint, basil, oregano in a steaming pot of water and just breathe it in. I'm like, what? So I'm going to try that. Okay. Ranjini, you got anything?
Yes, so I have, like I mentioned, a series of webinars that I'm starting next week on, and I'll post that in our group. I also have a 15-minute digital audit. So it could be websites, or it could be whatever your digital presence is. We will take a look at where you're at and where you want to go. So you can reach me. I have given out my details in the chat.
Awesome. And so I have a few things coming up. You guys know about my speaker training. Actually, tomorrow I leave for the East Coast. I'm speaking in Washington, D.C. on Thursday. So that's kind of cool at the Association of Association Executives, the Society of Association Executives, SAE or whatever. And so it's a pretty big conference. It's a marketing and communication conference. So that's pretty cool. And then, but y'all can't come to that, sorry. So probably, I'm guessing. I have the International Entrepreneur Network on Tuesday. That's at 4 o'clock. If you join for the $7 a month, you can come to that call. On Monday, I'm speaking at the Polka Dot Powerhouse, Monday the 10th in Fresno. So if you're anywhere near Fresno, I think I'm going to be there for the luncheon. And then we're doing a 2-hour workshop all about speaking, how to really master yourself, your talk, so people want what you've got, basically. That's what I do. That's what that talk's about. And then I'm doing, I'm speaking somewhere else, just looking at my calendar. I'm like, oh, what am I on vacation? I think that's it for now. There's plenty more things, but okay. Did I miss anybody? Does anything have any last minute? Stacy, have any last minute thoughts about? Go get him. Okay. Go get him, guys. Like, right? On your mark and set, go. make more sales. All right, so the speaker network, I put the link in there for the recordings and also for the meetup page if you want to come to the luncheon. And I'm just now posting the Facebook group for this group, and it's free. You can just go there and join the group, and then you'll be able to connect with each other there. And so that link is just posted for the Facebook group of this group. So couple minutes late, but hey, hope you have a great evening, and we'll see you next month if you'd like to join us again. We have a new speaker next month, which is July. Oh, actually, I'm gonna have to switch speakers, so I don't know which speaker that's gonna be yet. So, anyways, have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks
very much. Nice meeting everyone.
Bye. Don't forget to save the chat if you want it.